Well, good morning, everyone. That allows people to return to their homes and live in security would be through a ceasefire in Gaza, because
for just cause, but to them this feels like a war that seeks to destroy Palestinian society. What do you say to those people? How do you reconcile those views and those positions?
Have decided on my successor, and that will be good for all of us, for NATO and also for me.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
You've seen, as you've said, Russia try in desperation to develop and to strengthen relations with countries that can provide it with what it needs to continue the war of aggression that it started against Ukraine. And you heard the Secretary General just reference this. North Korea is providing significant munitions to Russia and other weapons for use in Ukraine. Iran has been providing weaponry, including drones, that have been used against civilians and civilian infrastructure. And as I mentioned a moment ago, the deep concerns we have about China, not in terms of providing weapons, but in providing what Russia needs to keep its defense industrial base going and to produce itself more tanks, more munitions, more missiles. Yes, with regard to China in particular, as I said before, it can't, on the one hand, say that it wants better relations with countries in Europe, while at the same time fueling the biggest security threat to Europe as a whole since the end of the Cold War. And President Biden heard that himself from our European partners who are part of the G7 just last week. So we are very much concerned about this because this is what's keeping the war going. And the fastest way to end the war is for Putin to be disabused of the notion that he can outlast Ukraine and outlast all of Ukraine's supporters, but also if he knows that the fuel he needs for his war machine won't be there anymore. So if China in particular, which professes to have a strong interest in ending the war, if it really means it, it will stop fueling the war machine and will continue to do everything we can to cut off the support that countries like Iran and North Korea are providing.
Say that I also fully agree that China cannot have it both ways. They cannot continue to have normal trade relationships with countries in Europe and at the same time fuel the biggest war we have seen in Europe since the Second World War. So at some stage this has to have consequences for China. Of course, also concerned about the potential support that Russia provides to North Korea when it comes to supporting their missile and nuclear programs. We see how much military support Russia gets from North Korea, but also from Iran, and how China is propping up their war economy. And this is also one of the reasons why at NATO and at the NATO summit here in Washington next month, we will further strengthen our partnership with our partners in the Asia-Pacific region, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea and Japan.